2025. That's it.
Then,
After that, resumption of session will be on November 10. If we want to continue session on the 30th, this plenary can do that from the chair, Madam Chair.
I think
Madam Speaker.
we really we all need to include it today.
Okay, so, Madam Speaker, that is only my motion to amend.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MPM Buludto. Any other proposals? Proposed amendments? 1 minute suspension. Resumes. Floor leader, where are we?
Period of amendment to the to this resolution.
May we request the proponent? What can you say with the the summary of the proposed amendments?
Madam Speaker, if there are no other proposed amendments, may I go to the first part?
First part, Secretariat. First part, yung nakapula.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, I accept the proposal to amend the proposed resolution to delete 1, 2, and 3, meaning resumption of session October 20 and adjournment on October 23 and resumption on October 27, considering that these are already included in approved resolution 538. But we do not accept the deletion of number 4, which is the adjournment of session October 30.
So that is a counter proposal to the proposed amendment of MP Amboludto. Any objection? Hearing none, the proposed amendment from 1, 2, 3 as is now approved.
Madam Speaker, I think there's another proposal for amendment.
MP Rakim, is that a new proposal? It's not a new amendment?
Amendment, Madam Speaker.
Amendment to the amendment?
No, Madam Speaker, to the dates of December.
We are still on November. May we hear from the proponent? Proponent?
Okay, for the proposal, Madam Speaker, to include the week of November 10, with the resumption on November 10 and adjournment on November 13, we interpose no objection, Madam Speaker. We accept.
The proposed amendment for item number 5 and number 6 is approved. Let's proceed to December.
Yes, Madam Speaker, there's a proposal to amend by including the week of December 1 up to December 4 as session days, and then again December 8 to 11 as session days. We interpose no objection. We accept, Madam Speaker.
Proposed amendment is accepted. Floor leader, where are we? MP Rakim?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, considering that there is already session dates on December 1 to 4, 8 to 11, I move, Madam Speaker, that we delete the session days December 22 and 23. So move, Madam Speaker.
That is a new proposal. May we hear from the proponent?
Madam Speaker, December.
What is the point of order?
Well, Madam Speaker, the rules, procedures, and practices of the Parliament specifically state that our session days are held on the third and fourth week. And any other session made out of those days are considered special sessions. Are we treating these as special sessions?
Proponent, may we hear from you?
My understanding, Madam Speaker, is that these will be regular sessions, considering that they are now, if approved, they will now be in the calendar of business. So even if there are rules saying that regular session days are held on the third and fourth week, I think the Parliament, by approving the dates mentioned herein, which go beyond the third and fourth week, would have said or would have expressed its decision to go beyond the third and fourth week, at least for the days that are mentioned. So we still retain the rules, but for these days that we include that are beyond the third and fourth week, this will be considered
And this
regular
is
session
on the
days.
ground of the rationale we
Yes.
mentioned earlier.
Yes, Madam Speaker, we can include, in fact, in the whereas clause, the urgency or the need for additional session days for us to work on the legislative agenda that are before us.
Yes,
Madam Speaker.
Deputy Speaker Sema?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I believe in that case, if we are going to add additional days, additional regular session days, and not treat these proposed dates as special session days, then there will be a consequential amendment of the rules, procedures, and practices of the Parliament. And I would like to ask the proponent that they include a motion to amend the rules, procedures, and practices of the Parliament, considering that these dates we are inserting go into the stated calendar of sessions as provided, day of sessions as provided in the rules, procedures, and practices of the Parliament. Thank you, Madam
Proponent?
Madam Speaker, I don't think we need to amend the rules. The rules will stay, but we are taking exception to those rules for the days that we mentioned in the proposed resolution.
Then,
So we
Madam
can
Chair-
include a whereas clause explaining the reason behind the additional days, and even saying, we can say that we treat this as exceptions to
The
the
rules.
specific rules that have been mentioned by the good Deputy Speaker.
Madam
Deputy
Speaker,
Speaker?
the rule states that there are only two kinds of sessions in our rules: special sessions and regular sessions. And therefore, when the rules have provided days of session is stated in our rules, procedures, and practices, then all other sessions are considered special sessions. Madam Speaker.
I think...
If they would not agree to amending the rules for that matter, and then it will be considered a special session. So I strongly urge the proponents that they include a motion to amend the rules, procedures, and practices of the Parliament as far as the session days is concerned, Madam Speaker.
Again, I go back to the proponent. If you are amenable to the proposal of the gentleman from Cotabato City to include in the whereas of the resolution. Otherwise, I will treat that as an objection. May I hear from the proponent? Or maybe you can put that as a proposed amendment.
If the proponent would allow me to submit
Of course,
an amendment.
everybody is entitled to submit their amendments. We are now in the period of amendments.
I would include that as a proposed amendment, that this proposed calendar, this insertion of session days will be considered as an amendment to the rules, procedures, and practices of the Parliament, Madam Speaker. I so move, Madam Speaker.
There is a motion now to... let us not divide yet the House. There is a... Let's
Yes.
put it in the proposal because that's a proposed amendment.
Okay, but
So
Madam,
let's look at the wording. Can you
Okay.
can you put that into words, your proposal, your amendment?
But before that, Madam Speaker, I'd just like to point out that Section 4, which says conduct of session, while it says in the first paragraph that sessions are held from Monday to Thursday on the third and fourth week of the month, there is space for the Parliament
To
to decide otherwise.
Yes.
So this should also be considered as the exception, as I mentioned earlier.
Deputy Speaker Sema? I think it's covered by the word except when the Parliament decides otherwise. Are you amenable to this? We don't need to amend the rules because there is an exception to the rules.
I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, the gentleman from Cotabato City, Deputy Speaker Omar Sema. Any other hands? Any other hands? So let's go back to the schedule. Schedule kanina. Secretariat, can you show? Can you show on the screen the schedule? There was a standing proposed amendment to delete December 2, 22, and December 23. Proponent?
Well, Madam Speaker, there is, I'm amenable again to the motion, considering that the 2 days after the 23rd, I think are considered holidays. So those who would have to travel here will only have to stay here for 2 days, unlike if it were up to Thursday, they could maximize their travel to and from Cotabato.
So you are accepting the proposal?
Unless anyone else would have an opinion on this, I think I would accept the
Thank you, Deputy Floor Leader, Attorney Raisa Jajuri. Any other Floor Leader?
There's no hand that raised to contribute more to this period of amendment, Madam Chair, and I therefore move to close period of amendment.
There is a motion to close the period of amendments. Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Move to approve.
Madam Chair, Madam Chair, I move for a minute suspension. Before approving.
1 minute suspension. Resume. Floor Leader.
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of resolution number 759 as amended.
There is a motion to approve proposed resolution number 759 as amended. Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Your Leader?
I thank all our colleagues for approving this, and we pray that we will be the participants the still members of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority up to the end of the calendar that we have set. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Madam Chair, Madam Speaker, as earlier approved, would like to move for that MP Suharto Ambalud to be recognized in the matter of an act for the creation of the parliamentary districts in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao.
But before the recognition of MP Suharto Ambuludto, would like to request the Secretariat to please read the proposed bill, the number, the title, and the authors of the bill. Secretariat?
Parliament Bill Number 403, providing for the creation of the parliamentary districts in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Authored by MPs Suharto Ambuludto, Baintan ng Patuan, Aminuddin Sumagayan, Isyak Mastura, Amir Zakaria Rakim, Rasdi Adjong, and Ali Rakim Mundar.
Thank you, Secretariat. May we recognize now MP Suharto Ambuludto to deliver his sponsorship speech.
Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, fellow members, esteemed colleagues in the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We stand before this august body today to sponsor a measure of profound significance, Parliament Bill Number 403, or the Parliamentary Districting Act of 2025. This will not be a mere exercise of legislative power. It is an act of solemn fidelity to the rule of law, a demonstration of our commitment to the constitutional supremacy, and a definitive step towards fulfilling the promise of our first regional parliamentary elections. The urgency and necessity of this bill are dictated by the recent and definitive pronouncements of our Supreme Court. We acknowledge, respect, and fully comply with the High Court's ruling, which declared the Bangsamoro Autonomy Act No. 58 and Bangsamoro Autonomy Act No. 77 as failing to rise to the measure of the Philippine Constitution. The voiding of these earlier measures presented a critical challenge to our electoral timeline, but also a clear constitutionally mandated directive to redraw the districts and do it right. The Supreme Court's ruling on BA 58 and BA 77 offered two critical negotiable standards that must govern our present action, in which our proposed bill number 403 seeks to strictly adhere. First is the principle of contiguous and adjacent districts. The Honorable Supreme Court found BA 77 failing to comply with the Bangsamoro Organic Law requirement that the parliamentary districts must be contiguous and adjacent as far as practicable in areas as Llano del Sur, Maguindanao del Norte, and Cotabato City. The previous iteration, unfortunately, did not meet the contiguity requirement. Parliament Bill number 4003 meticulously addresses this. Our proposed 32 single-member districts are drawn based on the latest available population data, ensuring that the municipality and geographical area within the district are compact, contiguous, and adjacent to other, fulfilling the express demands of the Bangsamoro Organic Law. We have eliminated all gerrymandering or arbitrary boundaries that compromise geographic logic, prioritizing the integrity of the electorate. Madam Speaker, the High Court also pointed out that its enactment and effectivity coincided with or fell within the legally defined election period, a direct violation of the Voters Registration Act, which prohibits the alteration of election precincts once the period has already commenced. Madam Speaker, this bill, PB number 403, is filed in the immediate wake of the Supreme Court's ruling and well ahead of the revised timeline for the rescheduled elections, demonstrating our Parliament's capacity for rapid, responsible, and compliant legislative action. By acting swiftly now, this Bangsamoro Transition Authority fulfills the Supreme Court's directive to immediately undertake the accomplishment of the determination of parliamentary districts for the first regular election for the members of the Parliament in strict compliance with the priorities and requirements provided in the Bangsamoro Organic Law, as well as the criteria laid down in the court decision. This ensures that the Commission on Elections will have ample time to proceed with its preparation for the polls, which the court directed to be conducted not later than March 31, 2026. This bill establishes a robust framework of 32 single-member parliamentary districts, apportioned among provinces, cities, and special geographic area. This configuration is not arbitrary. It is the product of careful calibration based on our latest demographics and geographic considerations. Our proposed districting, granting 4 districts to Basilan, 9 to Llano del Sur, 5 each to Maguindanao del Norte and Maguindanao del Sur, 4 to Tawi-Tawi, 3 to Cotabato City, and 2 to special geographic area is a proportional, compliant, and equitable representation of our people. Madam Speaker, members of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament, this bill is a collective undertaking and that signifies our maturity as a legislature. If passed as it is, it will be a collective action from the Parliament. It underscores that while we may champion certain laws, our highest duty is always to the Supreme Court, supreme law of the land. We are not merely correcting past legislation. We are building a stronger, more legally resilient foundation for the democratic future of the Bangsamoro. Madam Speaker, by passing Parliament Bill number 403, we guarantee that the forthcoming parliamentary elections will not only be free and fair, but they will be grounded in a law that stands firm against constitutional challenge, thereby ensuring the stability and legitimacy of our regional government. Madam Speaker, we respectfully move and pray this august body for the immediate consideration and passage of our parliamentary districting law. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Thank you, MP Ambuludto. Your leader.
Madam Speaker, we fully understand that there are no deliberations or amendments to a delivery such as this, but for more clarity, I move to have
brief on
MP Jose Lorena recognized.
What is the pleasure of MP Lorena, Deputy Speaker?
I would like to thank you, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker. The pleasure is really to, I don't object, nor that, but I just like that this be bill which is now referred to a committee.
Not yet referred.
Not yet referred, but before referral, which will be referred to the committee, should also be forwarded to the office of the Bangsamoro Attorney General's office, because I understand that they have filed a motion with manifestation, and therefore they can submit a supplemental manifestation annexing the said bill, because October 30 is fast approaching, and therefore we will be able to inform the Supreme Court that actions have been taken by the Parliament on the order of the Supreme Court. This is just the manifestation that I would like to include, and I want that the copy that we direct the Secretary General to also provide the copy to the BAGO with the understanding that should be included in a supplemental manifestation to update the Supreme Court of the developments of the order here. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker Lorena, for that manifestation. Floor Leader?
Madam Speaker, there are suggestions to refer this matter to several committees. I move to have MP Mitmog.
Deputy Floor Leader Mitmog is recognized.
Madam Speaker, maraming salamat, Floor Leader, sir. Madam Speaker, nais lang namin ipaalam sa body na nagkaroon po kami ng motion for intervention. Dahil gusto namin po malinawan talaga ano ba talaga ibig sabihin ng gerrymandering. At dahil dito, nag-motion for intervention kami at nag-MR kami sa Supreme Court, hoping na ma-recognize at maipaliwanag ng mas malinaw ano ba talaga yung coverage ng gerrymandering. So, before i-refer yung districting bill, ang nais lang namin i-request sa committee na sana, if ever, pag lumabas yung decision sa Supreme Court is agad ma-acknowledge nila at mas magiging klaro sana yung talagang malinaw na coverage ng gerrymandering para hindi tayo ma-stuck doon sa naunang naipalabas na anong paliwanag pa anong gerrymandering. Kasi nga ang pagkaintindi ko, yung ating bago, nagkaroon din po sila ng MR, partial MR, para maging klaro lang din sa kanila ano ba talaga yung pinaka-final na meaning ng gerrymandering. Yan lang po yung manifestation namin, Madam Speaker.
Maraming salamat, MP Mitmog, sa iyong manifestation. Floor Leader?
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to ask for a minute suspension.
1 minute suspension. issues. Floor Leader.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Your Honor, Madam Speaker, after careful deliberations, both formally and informally, I move to defer the referral of this measure.
There is a motion to defer consideration and referral of this proposed bill number 403. Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Floor Leader.
Your Honor, in accordance with the amended OB, official order of business rather, I move to have MP Nagib Sinarimbo recognized in connection with Committee Report 177, which is the Speaker's Memorandum number 0225568.
MP Attorney Nagib Sinarimbo is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Floor Leader. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Local Government and the Committee on Good Government, Accountability of Public Officers and Investigation, or the Blue Ribbon Committee, to which was referred the directive to jointly conduct a comprehensive inquiry in aid of legislation pursuant to the Office of the Parliament Speaker Memorandum number 0225-568 entitled Joint Inquiry into Alleged Misuse of Public Funds from the Office of the Chief Minister and Violations of Budgetary and Procurement Laws concerning the Local Government Support Fund, have duly considered the matter and hereby submit to the Parliament their preliminary report. I repeat, this is a preliminary report presenting the initial findings and the evidence gathered during the proceedings of the Joint Committee. The report are as follows. On January 27, 2025, Representative Ziaur Rahman Alonto Adjong delivered a privileged speech number 460 before the House of Representatives, raising serious allegations of irregularities in the disbursement and utilization of the LGSF within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The matter was referred to the House Committee on Public Accounts, which conducted hearings on February 26 and March 17, 2025. After two hearings, the committee terminated its deliberations on June 3, 2025 and subsequently submitted committee report number 1502 on June 10, 2025. The committee report disclosed that a total of 6.446 billion had been appropriated under the fiscal year 2024 General Appropriations Act of the Bangsamoro for the LGSF, which disbursements commencing in August 2024. The distribution of funds as reported to the committee was as follows: Basilan 1.5 billion, Lanao del Sur 1.35 billion, Maguindanao del Norte 1.385 billion, Maguindanao del Sur 778.5 million, tawi-tawi 1 billion, and Special Geographic Area 413 million, and Cotabato City 150 million. The allegations ventilated before the House centered on the following: political favoritism and exclusion, excessive allocations beyond national ceilings, fund release without request, improper receipts, return or diversion of funds, timing and validity concerns, delayed COA awareness. Before the scheduled first hearing of the House Committee on Public Accounts on February 26, 2025, on the subject, the Speaker of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, Parliament Attorney Pangalian M. Balindong, issued Office of the Parliament Speaker Memorandum Number 0225-568, dated February 25, 2025, in the exercise of his general supervision of all committees in the Parliament. The memorandum formally directed the CLG and the Blue Ribbon Committee to jointly conduct a thorough inquiry in aid of legislation into the management, release, and utilization of the LGSF. The memorandum stressed that the LGSF is sourced from the annual block grant, which constitutes a critical component of the fiscal autonomy conferred upon the Bangsamoro government under Republic Act 1104 or the Bangsamoro Organic Law. As such, primary jurisdiction over its administration lies with the Bangsamoro Parliament. Further, it affirmed the imperative that the inquiry be conducted with utmost transparency and diligence in order to safeguard public trust and ensure compliance with the laws and regulations governing the handling of financial resources. It required the concerned committees to gather relevant information, prepare findings, and submit the recommendations directly to the Office of Speaker. Finally, the memorandum made clear that the ultimate purpose of the joint inquiry was to enable the Bangsamoro Parliament to present its findings formally to the House of Representatives, thereby ensuring that the regional perspective and factual context were adequately represented in the national deliberations concerning the alleged misuse of the LGSF. As you may note, there's a commitment from the then Speaker of the Parliament that the findings of the joint committee will be submitted to Congress. Unfortunately, until today, the same has not been complied. This preliminary report intends to bridge that gap by presenting a report to the Congress of the Philippines so that the issues raised thereto may now be adequately addressed. And therefore, and hence this report. I will not discuss the other aspects of the report. Let me proceed directly into the findings of this preliminary report. After due consideration of the documents, the clarifications presented during the proceedings of the Committee on Local Government and the Committee on Good Government, Accountability, Public Officers, and Investigation, and taking into account the transmittal of the House of Representatives Committee Report 1502 and the directive of the Parliament Speaker under OPS Memorandum Number 0225-568 as part of the factual background, the following findings are respectfully submitted. Number one, it is established that the LGSF is the subject matter of this inquiry and is sourced from the plaque grant and appropriated under the GAB 2024. The inquiry further established that the LGSF in the Bangsamoro is a regional appropriation made pursuant to and distinct from the national LGSF administered by the National Department of Budget and Management. It is funded by the Black Grant under Section 6, Article 12 of the Bangsamoro Organic Law and appropriated through the Bangsamoro Autonomy Act Number 56 or GAB 2024. As legislated regionally, its administration therefore falls within the primary jurisdiction of the Bangsamoro government. Number two, the committees found that guidelines governing the LGSF were issued by the MFBM. Said guidelines were substantially patterned after DBM issuances but contained deviations, particularly the absence of fixed ceilings for LGU classification and the requirement of the OCM approval prior to release. It also set the coverage for the use of the LGSF, its limitations, and posting and reporting requirements. Number three, the House report and the submissions of the MFBM confirmed the amounts as not contested. It's a total of 6.446 billion released in 2024 with significant amounts allocated to select LGUs and to the MILG. Number four, the committees have not made a conclusive determination. I repeat, the committees have not made a conclusive determination on the allegations of direct misuse of funds, as these matters necessitate further documentary examination and may require further hearings. The COA confirmed that it became aware of the disbursements only after the privileged speech was made in January 2025. Pending the completion of the final audit report, the COA committed to conduct a fraud audit to address the reported anomalies. Number 5, while existing guidelines such as Section 4.11 of the Budget Circular Number 2024-010 and the general principles under the Bangsamoro Local Governance Code indicate that accountability for disbursement and utilization of funds lies with the local chief executives and other accountable officials of the recipient LGUs, the committees recognize the need to conduct further hearings with recipient LGUs to gather their accounts and insights on the actual fund utilization. Number 6, there is a need to clarify and reconcile regional autonomy with national standards. The committees acknowledge that confusion partly arose from the use of the same nomenclature, Local Government Support Fund, for both the BARM and national programs. While BARM has discretion to formulate its own rules, the House findings and DBM issuances underscore the importance of instituting clearer internal parameters, particularly on documentation and reporting requirements, and to establish equitable ceilings or limits appropriate to the Bangsamoro context. These measures will ensure transparency and accountability without undermining the fiscal autonomy granted and exercised by the Bangsamoro government in the Bangsamoro autonomous regions. The following are the recommendations. In light of the foregoing, the joint committees respectfully submit the following recommendations with the end in view of strengthening accountability, ensuring equity in distribution, and restoring public confidence in the management of the LGSF. Number 1, the committee specifically recommend that Parliament issue a formal clarification to the House of Representatives and to the public that the Bangsamoro LGSF is distinct from the national LGSF. It is governed by the GAAB and its implementing circulars issued by the MFBM. Such clarification will correct the impression that the regional fund mirrors or overlaps with national program. Number 2, the MFBM is directed to revise its budget circulars to establish clear distinctions with national LGSF and establish clear process flow with stricter guidelines for equity, transparency, and accountability. This is to prevent perceptions of disproportionate or politicized releases. Stricter requirements on documentation and reporting should likewise be imposed, with compliance reports published quarterly for public access. Number 3, to avoid further confusion with the national program, it is recommended that the Parliament consider renaming or otherwise qualifying the regional program, such as Bangsamoro Local Government Support Fund. This will stress its distinct legal basis while retaining its developmental purpose of supporting local governments. Number 4, the committees recommend that the joint inquiry continue in succeeding sessions to address and resolve issues raised by the Commission on Audit, to review allegations ventilated in the congressional proceedings, and to secure clarifications from key officials, including former Deputy Senior Minister Engineer Muhajirin Ali and representatives of select LGUs. This extended inquiry will allow Parliament to comprehensively address concerns of misuse or misfeasance and to establish accountability where necessary. Number 5, the Parliament should ensure that future BAAs explicitly include ceilings and clearer process flow, accountability safeguards, and transparency requirements for funds intended to support constituent local government units. The MILG and the Commission on Audit in BARM should be formally tasked to strengthen their coordination in monitoring and auditing fund utilization with regular submission of reports to the Parliament. Number 6, there should be suspension of the proceedings of new LGSF releases pending the issuance of revised joint guidelines by the MFBM, OCM, and the MILG. Number 7, the Parliament can explore the possibility of proposing amendments to the bank secrecy law, which was invoked by the Land Bank of the Philippines and refusing to disclose local government unit account details during the House inquiry, thereby limiting external verification of LGSF fund transfers. It would lead banks such as the Land Bank of the Philippines and other depository institutions to provide audit-relevant account information to oversight bodies once authorized by law, ensuring that bank secrecy is not misused to shield public funds and public accountability. In conclusion, the inquiry into the alleged misuse of the LGSF of the BARM has revealed substantial concerns regarding the propriety, equity, and transparency of fund releases and institution and utilization. The findings of the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts, coupled with the observations of the Commission on Audit and the testimonies presented before the committees of the Bangsamoro Parliament, confirm that gaps in documentation, weak internal controls, and allegations of political favoritism have cast serious doubt on whether the LGSF fully served its intended purposes of supporting constituent LGUs in the delivery of basic services and development projects. At the same time, it is important to stress that the LGSF is a regional appropriation source from the Black Grant and lodged under the GAAB. Its administration and processes governing its release, special budget requests by constituent LGUs, evaluation by the MFBM, endorsement and approval by the OCM, and disbursement through the BTO were undertaken pursuant to office circulars in compliance with the mandate of the GAAB 2024. The allegations of misuse, therefore, warrant continued hearings, audit verification, and where appropriate, legal action against specific accountable officers or officials, but cannot be imputed to the institutional exercise of fiscal authority by the Bangsamoro government. The responsibility for ensuring the lawful, transparent, and effective use of the LGSF fund lies primarily with the constituent LGUs that receive them. The role of the regional government was to establish the framework for release and to ensure that allocations were made available to LGUs in support of development initiatives. The joint committees affirm that the issues uncovered by this inquiry highlight not the failure of regional autonomy, but the urgent necessity of refining its safeguards. Enhanced audit mechanisms, improved monitoring by ministries, and the mandatory transparency measures for constituent LGUs will ensure that future releases are insulated from partisan influence and are directed to genuine community needs. Accordingly, this report concludes that while the alleged irregularities must be addressed through the proper audit and investigative channels, the statutory grant of fiscal autonomy to the Bangsamoro government remains the guiding framework. The corrective measures to be undertaken must respect this autonomy while ensuring that the LGSF and all public funds entrusted to the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region are managed with fidelity to the principles of transparency, accountability, and moral governance. We respectfully submit to this august body this preliminary report. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you to the committee chair on local government, MP Attorney Nagib Sinarimbo. Floor leader.
I move for a 1-minute suspension.
1 minute suspension. Session resumes. Floor Leader.
Your Honor, I move for the approval of the committee report for purposes of the treatment of the report by this August body.
There is a motion to approve for deliberation the committee report number 177 with regards to the Speaker's Memorandum number 0225-568. Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for that the period for deliberations be open.
There is a motion to open the period of deliberation. Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Madam Chair, I move to have the great MP, Hossein Lorena, to be recognized.
MP Attorney Jose Lorena, Deputy Speaker, is now recognized.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Thank you, Madam Speaker. If the gentleman chairman of the Committee on Local Government, to whom the memorandum was prepared, is willing to answer some clarificatory questions.
Gladly, Madam Speaker, with the assistance of the chair of the committee of the Blue Ribbon Committee.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is, the object of preparer of the memorandum to the two committees was for you to find out the importance, and inquire into the alleged misuse of funds or the LGSF. Am I correct?
That is correct, Madam Speaker.
And the end of that investigation is you are directed to furnish a report to the committee of the House Committee on Good Government. Is that correct?
That is correct, Madam Speaker.
And in the course of your investigation, while you have not come conclusively to a finding of the issues surrounding the LGSF, you have already found out some important facts that you necessarily want to inform the Congress of the Philippines. Is that what intended?
Please answer.
Correct, Madam Speaker.
This is in order to foreclose any intimation from Congress that we are not cooperating. Am I correct?
That is correct, Madam Speaker.
In this preliminary report that you have stated, have you included the House Committee requests for COA to conduct an investigation separate to be referred back to the House of Congress?
We did not as yet touch upon one of the major recommendations of the House, which is a directive to the Commission on Audit to conduct a fraud audit. So we have not covered that as yet, Madam Speaker.
So our report today is limited to the facts surrounding the delivery of the LGSF to local government units and other organs that they have been covered by the distribution in 2004 as part also of an oversight of the Parliament relative to the utilization of the budget in 2024.
Please answer.
Correct?
Partly correct, Madam Speaker, except that the emphasis of the report is on the apparent misappreciation of the fact that the local government support fund funded under GAB 2024 is not the same as the LGSF in the national budget, which is administered by the Department of Budget and Management. This confusion has led into several conclusions that we feel are not correct in the report of the House. And therefore, we are correcting this misappreciation, Madam Speaker.
In this report, you have dichotomized the budget, the LGSF of the national government from the LGSF which is funded by the Parliament utilizing the black grant under our budget of 2024. Is that correct?
Very correct, Madam Speaker. And the object of that is, one, to clarify the distinction between the two and to establish the fact that under the organic law, the region indeed enjoys fiscal autonomy. And part of that important fiscal autonomy is the power of the Parliament to allocate funds and to fund programs of this nature.
So in saying so, we are contemplating to state that the LGSF program of the BARM could be different from that of the LGSF National because this is an exercise of our fiscal autonomy and which power is also given to the Parliament. Am I correct?
Very correct, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. I just want to elucidate all those clarification because I really support the idea of providing the House because in the final analysis, while we have an autonomy, since our black rat is incorporated continuously in the General Appropriations Act, then Congress has a oversight on the utilization of all those provided for in the national GAA. So nonetheless, I'm happy to note that we are not yet exercising the parliamentary oversight in this particular report. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker Attorney Jose Lorena. Floor Leader.
Madam Speaker, there being no other member of the Parliament interested to participate in the deliberations, I move to have this period of deliberations closed.
There is a motion to close the period of interpellation and debate on Committee Report 177. Any second? Any objection? Motion is approved. Floor Leader.
Madam Chair, Madam Speaker, I move to close the period of amendment.
There is a motion to close the period of amendment. Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Floor Leader.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the report on the Speaker's Memorandum 0225-568.
There is a motion to approve Committee Report 177 on Speaker's Memorandum Number 0225-568. Any second? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Floor Leader.
Madam Chair, after having treated all those priority matters, I move to have a 1-minute suspension.
1 minute suspension. Floor Leader.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Your Honor, I move for suspension for the holding of an executive session of the Parliament's budget.
There is a motion to have an executive session, I think for 30 minutes or more. So, saan nyo gusto? Dito o sa labas? Doon sa loob. Sa loob, para hindi nalalabas yung mga bata. Sa loob na lang. But we don't have LCD there. Kailangan ipakita yung budget. I will decide whether, We'll have a 30-minute executive session. Doon.